Here's the story of a crybaby named Howard. Tell us a Howard Stern story that should have gone in your $1 million book, Ross Dogg's Broken Spirit, for $6. We went to the Son of a Beach press conference way back in the day. We were working at WNEW. Howard was trying to become a TV star because, you know, when you call yourself the king of all media, you kind of got to do a little more than radio. And he's pretty much failed at everything else. I mean, his books sold well, so okay, fair enough. But his TV projects, everything he tried to do in TV failed. His movie wasn't good enough to get another one. That's the fact as far as all that goes. But then again, he made a movie. I didn't make a movie. There you go. I beat you to the punch again. Working for the same company. We get word that he's doing a Son of a Beach press conference at the Plaza. And me and Anthony, I didn't know we had to ask permission, but I guess we had to ask permission because we got in so much trouble for this. We're there early, and Howard's doing his press conference for this Son of a Beach TV show that was a stinker. And me and Anthony look at each other. I don't know who started it, and we're like, let's go. We weren't going to do anything, we were just curious. Worked for the same company and stuff. I thought, whatever. And we get 2 seats at the back. We get ourselves a nice sandwich. They had a nice sandwich spread. We're just sitting there and we're just chit-chatting, and we're getting absolutely recognized. We were pretty hot at this point, getting recognized by a lot of the people in there, and we're getting recognized by the Howard Stern people. The first person turned around who was sitting in front of us like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are here. Are you guys up to something? What are you going to do? And this is the God's honest truth. Me and Anthony we had nothing planned. We were just going to sit there and check it out. I think it was Boy Gary, and he comes over and says hi. He was always a stupid double agent. He would make believe, we were all good and friends. And then he would run to Howard. He was the guy that always ran to Howard. Because I know, did Howard Stern listen to Opie and Anthony? Absolutely. Did he listen to it on a regular basis? Absolutely not. Did he have Boy Gary listen to Opie and Anthony on a regular basis? Absolutely. Did Boy Gary report back to Howard about all the crap we were saying and doing to him? Absolutely. So all of a sudden the press conference is taking a really long time to get started. We're looking like, this is weird. It was supposed to start at whatever, and it's like at least a half hour past that time. And other people from the press were kind of looking around, wondering what the hell's going on. There's like murmurs and mumbles, and like, why isn't this thing starting? And another person came over and like, you sure you're not going to do anything? I'm like, no, we just want to check it out. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I guess. And they walk off, and you see people babbling to each other in the corner. And next thing you know, like a big fucking guy comes over and says, you two have to leave immediately. And we're like, what? And then we pick up our plate of sandwiches and we're walking out, and everyone's looking at us in disgust. This is all true. And that's when we see Jeremy Coleman, who used to work for us before he worked for Howard Stern. And he literally has his arms folded, and he's basically scolding us. What are you guys doing? What do you guys do? And once again, we're making millions for the company. We are putting money for the company. We have one of the hottest radio shows in the country, nipping at Howard's heels on some days. And once again, we're getting scolded and basically being pulled out of a situation by our ears. It might as well have been by our ears. And we get on the sidewalk, and we're getting yelled and screamed at, and they're like, come on, let's go. Let's get back to the station. I'm like, and me and Anthony look at each other. What did we actually do? Here's the story. Here's the story of a crybaby named Howard. So Boy Gary, saw that me and Anthony were at the press conference for Son of a Beach, and he calls Howard immediately. And Howard, this was told to me by someone, Ken Stevens. What? When it didn't matter to Ken Stevens anymore, because I asked him, like, so that day, what exactly happened? This is exactly what happened. Boy Gary saw that Opie and Anthony were at the press conference. He called Howard immediately. Howard flipped out, yelling and screaming at Boy Gary. He said, I will not start the press conference until those guys are gone. And when we were leaving the Park Plaza, there was a huge limo right in front. Howard was in that limo. We had to walk right by the limo as he's seething inside. You would think the guy would have rolled down the window, but he hid. He hid in the stupid limo until we were pulled out of the situation by our ears. Get back to the station. We're getting yelled and screamed at. I'm like, what? You should have told us you were going down there. What? Why? We work for the same company. We wanted to support a fellow employee. And so then the story goes, so Boy Gary calls Howard. Howard loses his mind. He says, I'm not starting the press conference until those guys are out of there, right? And then Howard called Ken Stevens, who wasn't even his boss, to yell and scream at Ken Stevens about us. Yell and scream. And then as we're being pulled away basically by our ears, I turn. I'm like, I got to turn. So I turned like, and I hear like, come on, what are you doing? Because I turned and paused for a second to see that big dork leave his stupid limo and go into the Park Plaza because, now it was safe to go. Tommy Fest, I guess we can't talk about Howard or else, LOL. Oh, God. Dude, Howard, look, I know there's probably a bunch of you hate watching this. I get it. I understand how you think. And there's a bunch of people that really like Howard, and I understand that too. I get it. He's still doing it, and I'm not. And, there's a lot of people out there that try to say he stinks. He doesn't stink. He's not as good as he used to be or anything like that. Of course not, but he doesn't stink. Most podcasts stink. But, man, when we were doing that radio show, he gave us so much great material, and then it got to a point we weren't allowed to do any of it anymore. That's what it came down to. And then then his fan base would try, you're just jealous. No, it was just fun knowing that this guy that literally was miserable with his wife and was hanging out in a basement, more or less. Fast forward a few years, he marries a blonde bombshell and basically takes helicopters to the Hamptons. There was a lot there to make fun of. Oh, and then they came to us. And I'm like, why? Isn't Howard this tough shock jock that takes on everybody? Why can't we talk about him anymore? And then it was told to me, these guys wear down eventually. Basically said that Howard couldn't take it and he would, bitch and complain all the time to the big fucking bosses. And that is a fact.